What's up everybody, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Brandon and this is the Blind Fishkeeper. If you're new here, I am a 100% blind aquarist. I keep 9 tanks and 2 ponds, and I maintain, set up, and stock all of these ponds and tanks 100% by myself. If this is something that you'd be interested in following, please consider hitting that subscribe button and also the notification bell to let you know when I upload a new video. If you are a returning subscriber, welcome back. I'm happy to see you again. So today I'm gonna do a little bit of a fish room tour and a feeding for everybody. If I was a better YouTuber, I would probably have something a little more interesting planned, but I don't, so this is what we're gonna do today. Again, thanks for joining me and stay tuned. Alright everybody, before we get started with the fish room tour and feeding today, I just wanted to take a second and remind everybody we've still got the Blind Fishkeeper challenge going. That is to escape a tank completely blind and snap a photo of it and email that photo to me at theblindfishkeeper@gmail.com. I do have a couple of prizes waiting in the wings to be handed out to the best tank or best tanks that are sent to me. And I gotta tell you right now, your chances are really good. I don't have a whole lot of entries. We've definitely got a $50 gift card to the Aquarium Co-op to hand out. And Miss Jess from Maine's Tails, Furs, and Fins is also going to donate a $50 gift card as well. Also, to everybody, whether you win the prizes or not, anybody that sends me an entry in will be getting a Blind Fishkeeper Challenge t-shirt. This is a custom t-shirt. It's a limited run, one-of-a-kind type deal. And all of you who enter will be getting a t-shirt for the participation. So get on it. You've got till the end of April to send me your entries. Also, the lovely folks at Sublime Arts Incorporated, my production company here, have decided that I don't have enough social media exposure, so they have started me an Instagram page. That Instagram page is the Blind Fishkeeper. Real simple. So please go check it out. Follow me over on Instagram, share it out to all your friends, and you'll be able to see snapshots and little videos that might not be included here on YouTube. Again, that is the Blind Fishkeeper on Instagram. And finally, probably the most exciting thing that's happened for me recently, back at Aquashella this year, I was fortunate enough to meet Dan Connor and his lovely wife of Consolidated Fish Farms. And you may be wondering why we're just sitting here following around the little blue Acara. That's because he came from Dan and his wife at Consolidated Fish Farms. I picked him up at Aquashella, and while I was getting the fish, I was fortunate enough to have a nice conversation with Dan and his wife, and they and I have agreed that a partnership might be beneficial to both of us. They have now provided me with an affiliate link down in the description below. If you're interested in going and checking out what Dan and his wife have at Consolidated Fish Farms, go through that affiliate link to purchase your fish, and I might get a little bit of a kickback on it. Also, in the description below, they've given me just a discount code. If you don't want to go through the affiliate link, enter the Blind Fishkeeper at checkout and you'll get 10% off your purchase. Or go through the affiliate link and use the discount. And then we all have a good day. I really got to say thank you to Dan for taking the opportunity and the chance to team up with me. I look forward to many things in the future to come with him. I think we're going to go out and do a tour of the fish farm and check out his facility a little more closely, so stay tuned for that one coming in the future. Also, I'll link a video to the Blind Fishkeeper challenge down in the description, and a link to my Instagram down in the description. And of course, the affiliate link and discount code will also be in the description. But that's enough of the commercials. Again, thank you, Dan. Consolidated Fish Farm. Everybody go check them out. Whether you use my links and discount codes or not, go check them out and buy some fish. That's enough of the commercials. So let's get back to this feeding and fish room tour. The reason why we're all here. Okay, so I figured we'll do a little bit of a fish room tour and a feeding. So come on with me. I'm just going to go through the way I feed my fish every day, and we'll just talk about each tank as I stop. Everybody should be quite familiar with this one. This is my 125-gallon Oscar tank. Last week was a bit of a very sad situation for me. My big girl, my most favorite fish that I've got here in the fish room, passed away last week. She was a 13-inch common tiger Oscar, and she was driven out of the tank by a 20-plus inch common plecostomus that had discovered the joys of slime coat. I walked in to feed the fish room one morning last week, and I found her on the floor dead. So rest in peace, Jamie. I'm definitely going to miss that fish. A day later, we got rid of that big plecostomus. As you can see here in the tank, there is no plecostomus anymore. But there are 2 more Oscars all of a sudden. So I'd like to go on and take this time to introduce you guys. Holly, if you would. The first one is Spike. It is a big red Oscar. The other new one is Maynard, who is 8 to 10 inch tiger Oscar. But they've gone in the tank and just fit right in. When we went to drop off the common pleco, we discovered that there had been some surrenders of some larger Oscars that needed new homes, and it was kind of like the universe talking to me as I had the space clear up. With Jamie being gone, I was able to offer these fish a good home, and I'm kind of happy about it. They've been in here for about a week now, and they seem to be doing really well. The big red Oscar, he was raised, well, I say he, I don't know if it's a he or a she. I did not have them vented before I added them to the tank, but the big red Oscar was raised on nothing but feeder fish, unfortunately, and it's been a bit of a chore to get him to come around to eating pellets because I don't feed feeder fish. But as you'll see, he has he's adjusted very well. So we'll go on and throw some of my big guy blend. That's what I call it anyway. This is a blend of extreme big fella Northfin krill pellets, Northfin veggie pellets, the large fluval bug bites for cichlids, and Hikari Massivore Delight. And I just mix it all up in one container, and that way I can give them a diversity of food every day. So I guess just a brief overview of this tank. Again, it's a 125 gallon tank. I think on top are a couple of just white Aquanite lights. I think they're Aquanite. I can't remember 100%, but filtering the tank, I have got one FX6 and one Odyssey CFS 700, and then an Aquarium Co-op sponge filter. The couple little fake plants in there came from Elite Cichlids. The big tree stump came from Universal Rocks. It's just a mix of pool filter sand, a couple of different sized gravels, and I think some crushed coral for the substrate. We've got a nice big piece of regular driftwood and a couple of Universal Rocks river stones, along with just some actual river stones for accent pieces. Along with the 3 Oscars, we have got a green Severum, which is fondly called Moose. We've got the lovely gold Severum. Here's my little golden girl Blanche. And then we've got a small little school of juvenile green terrors, which will be disappearing very soon. So that's the 125 gallon. This is my 55 gallon Green Terror tank. This is the father of the Green Terrors from the Oscar tank. This is my boy Pablo. Along with Pablo in this tank, there is an albino bristlenose pleco, a super red bristlenose pleco, which I'm hoping are a pair that will make some more. And then there are 4 little spotted pictus catfish. Now this tank is planted with live plants. There is Bulbitis, Java Fern, Anubias nana, and Italian Val, all growing in this tank. And there may or may not be, I haven't checked on it in a while, but I did put a little Bucephalandra down somewhere in the front center. I don't know if it's even still there or not, but there was a Bucephalandra in there. Nice, awesome big piece of driftwood. And this tank gets the same food, the big guy blend, as I call it. So we'll go on and drop a little bit of food in here. Let's see if Pablo will come out and grab him a bite. Was he hungry, Holly? No. No? Alright, so I guess we're going to have a no-show on Pablo. He's real shy when strangers come around. And he is not very familiar with my camera girl. He did come out? Awesome. So we do get a showing from Mr. Pablo today. There you have it. the 55-gallon Tetra tank. There may or may not be changes coming very soon. And here we are. This is another 55-gallon tank. This is my planted community rainbow fish tank, however you choose to look at it. I choose to think of it as awesome. This is a 55-gallon, like I said. On top is a JC&P full spectrum planted light. It is filtered by 2 AquaClear 110 hang on the back filters. Fully planted, as you can see. We've got some Ludwigia, Vallisneria. Wait, no Vallisneria. Pogostemon, Stellatus octopus. Various little crypts. Lots of Java fern. Some Anubias. Aquarium lily. And I think some dwarf chainsword. But just a nice tank. There's a couple of pieces of driftwood and dragonstone for hardscape. And the bottom is just a mix of various sized gravels. It gets 1 squirt of Easy Green per water change. I don't do 1 squirt per 10 gallons. This tank is really full of rhizome type plants, so they don't need quite as much of the Easy Green as other tanks might. Plus, it is so overstocked that if I add too much of the fertilizer to it, the nitrates skyrocket. So the fish do a lot of the work for me in this case. Anyway, I think they are quite hungry and they've waited long enough. So let's get to the feeding. Now this is basically the same stuff as I feed to the big fish. It's just crushed down to a size that the smaller mouths can take. I don't buy separate foods. I buy all the same food, and then for these little guys, I just crush this food down into a manageable size for them. And this one's usually really exciting to feed because they go crazy. In this tank we've got various rainbow fish, we've got denison barbs, we've got black skirt tetras, we've got a few Cary blue tetras, a couple of platies, we've got the koi angel, we've got the electric blue acara, we've got some albino cory cats, some stir-by cories, some clown loaches. I think that's about it. I can't remember if I'm missing any more. But this is a really awesome tank. This one gets a lot of attention from people in the fish room. And here we are now close to the floor. I've got 2 10-gallon quarantine tanks underneath the rainbow tank. So this is Quarantine 1. These are a group of little platinum blue angelfish. I have to say a huge thank you to Jess from Manes, Tails, Furs, and Fins for sending these to me. These little guys are right around dime sized right now, so they'll be growing out in here for a little while. But they are awesome little fish. Eager little feeders. They eat literally everything I put in. I think Jess had told me she was feeding them live baby brine and crushed up flake food. I've now gotten them eating baby bloodworms, cyclops, brine shrimp. They eat powdered extreme food and the crushed up krill flakes, and they love it. So this is just a simple tank. I put a little bit of substrate down in the bottom just for buffering purposes. That's got a mix of some crushed coral, gravel, sand, a few little odds and ends pieces for some structure, and a couple of plants. And it's just filtered by an aquarium co-op sponge filter. So let me grab their food. So this is the aquarium co-op fry food container, but in it I have got a mix of that crushed up powderized extreme food and the krill flakes. And I will feed these guys 3, sometimes 4 times a day. They going after it?
At the bottom.
Huh?
At the bottom of the tank.
Well, yeah, I mean, they're not going to feed. They're going to wait for it to come down to them. Right beside that tank is Quarantine 2. Basically the same setup. A little bit of substrate for buffering purposes, aquarium co-op sponge filter, a little bit of structure, and some plants. I did put some floating pogostem and stellatus octopus in there. And this tank will soon be full of my next charges, so stay tuned to see what those are going to be. I think right now there's just some snails in there, just to kind of help keep the filter alive. And then I've just got a JCMP light set across the top of both tanks. Quick and easy. So this is another of my 10-gallon tanks. This is my Pea Puffer tank. They are the only inhabitants in this tank. Aside from, a few snails I throw in there a couple of times a week for the little guys to go after and hunt. There may be a shrimp or two in there that haven't been picked off yet. But this tank is solely for the little Pea Puffers. There are 4 of them in here. And kind of a recurring theme in my fish room, the substrate is just a mix of various stuff. I feel like when you mix it up, instead of buying a whole, one particular type, it just tends to look a little more natural. And I think in this tank, most of it is going to be Vallisneria as far as the plants go. There's also a couple of crypts, maybe some pogostemon, a little bit of rotala, some guppy grass, and of course duckweed. This one's also just being filtered by an aquarium co-op sponge filter. So let's give these guys a little bit of a feed. On top here, real simple. The light is simply a little LED light strip that actually came on a 55-gallon starter kit. So we're going to be feeding these little guys some bloodworms today. And I'm sure they are probably ready. So let's drop them and see what happens. Quick tip. If you do a lot of frozen food, these little solo cup shot glasses are amazing. Super cheap. Disposable once they wear out. And basically just perfect for feeding fish. So here we are in front of my 20-gallon fun-filled beauty tank. I don't know. It's guppies and shrimp. Super simple, beginner type tank, but still one of the coolest tanks I've got. These are just a mix of some mutt guppies and some line bred guppies and a group of red cherry shrimp and some snails. I put snails in every tank. So with my guppies, I do not do any kind of line breeding. Being blind, it's hard for me to do any of the in-depth type care that comes with line breeding a guppy. I buy probably once a year or so some line bred stuff, or just some regular fancy guppies that are just really pretty, just to add to my mutts for genetic mix and color and fin types. I gotta say a huge thank you again to Jess of Mains, Tails, Furs, and Fins. When she sent me the baby angels, she also sent me 16 of her beautiful guppies. So all of the albinos in here came from Jess, and I believe she sent me a Dumbo ear blue dragon, maybe? And of course, the colony of red cherry shrimp. In this tank, we've got just riverstone and a piece of driftwood. Again, my substrate mix. There is just a plethora of plants. I just went through the fish room snagging various things, and I've just planted them randomly in there. We've got the Aquarium Co-op sponge filter and an Aquaneat, I think it's an Aquaneat, I'm sorry, an AquaClear 20 hang on the back filter. We don't need a lot of flow for this tank. You'll blow the guppies around and blow the shrimp around. But I keep flow going in every tank because it helps keep the algae from taking hold. Have to apologize for the tank being a little cloudy. It's still clearing up from moving the tank last week. But everybody seems to be going very well. On top is a Nicrew. It's just a white Nicrew light. And as you can see, the plants are doing wonderful. So don't worry about buying the big high dollar lights. Even a plain old little $20 Nicrew light will grow plants. Like I said, this is a simple tank to set up, run, and maintain. This is like the ideal beginner tank. Lots of action, lots of color. This is just a great tank, and even for people who've been doing it for a long time, as you can see, I've still got one set up in my fish room. So let's give them a little bit of the food today. We're gonna use the Small Guys blend. I like to feed heavy. I've got nothing but time here, being that I don't work, so I tend to feed really heavy, and I can do as many water changes as are needed. I tend to keep in community tanks a heavily stocked tank. And especially when you've got guppies and shrimp that are always producing fry and little shrimplets, you've really got to keep them fed so that the females stay healthy. And the fry stay healthy. Plus, if you keep full bellies in your fish, you tend to have more survivability of your fry. Very cool tank though. This is the biggest tank I currently have. This is a 150 gallon tank. This one's actually in my bedroom. And this is my mixed African cichlid tank. This one's being filtered by an Odyssey CFS 700 canister filter, a Sun 704B canister filter, and an AquaClear 110 hang on the back. It is being lit by two Kessel Tuna Sun, I think is the type of Kessel lights they are. We've got Big River Rocks on the bottom. The substrate is a mix of white and black aragonite, crushed coral, and pool filter sand. The 2 plants, or I'm sorry, there's 3 plants in there now. Those are all from Elite Cichlids, which is unfortunately no longer around. So again, this is a mixed African tank. I have got peacocks, haps, and Mabuna, all from Lake Malawi. I've got haps from Lake Victoria, and probably somewhere front and center is King Julian, my Starry Night cichlid from Madagascar. This tank is, I'd say, very lightly stocked. At the end of last year, I had a major die-off due to a heater failure, and I have slowly been restocking the tank. But it is nonetheless a fairly peaceful tank for a African cichlid tank. Again, I feed this tank pretty heavily, and I feel like full bellies tend to reduce aggression a little bit. Think about it like your Thanksgiving dinner. When you've got a full belly, you don't feel like rustling and tussling around after you finish eating. So again, with the heavy feeding, you need heavy maintenance, and I've got the time to do it, so it's part of my regimen for keeping the peace. There's a very large male bristlenose pleco in here. He's actually the father of the super red bristlenose that is in the green terror tank. And again, some of these fish are still young and haven't come into their full maturity and their full scale aggression yet. But for now, things are going very well. And there will be definitely more fish added as time goes. So please stay tuned. And again, I'm just going to go with the Big Guys Cichlid blend, or the Big Guys blend here. And I know these folks know exactly what's about to happen. I'm feeding later than I usually feed, so they're probably giving me the evil eye for not feeding them yet. Love this tank. When I went blind, I was keeping nothing but African cichlids at the time, and this was a little over 5 years ago. Africans have been a pretty big passion of mine for the last 10 years or so, and nowadays, although I keep a pretty nice selection of fish, I will always have the African tank around. So there it is. 150 gallon mixed African tank. And last but certainly not least, this is the 5 gallon beta tank. In this tank, I've got my beautiful boy. This is Bruce Lee and all of his little dragons, as I like to call them. This is just a group of neon tetras. I think there may be a few random green neons in there as well. And of course, the ever-present snails. Again, my regular substrate mix is on the bottom. Got a few little river stones for some hardscape. A few little broken off twigs of some driftwood. The aquarium co-op sponge filter is present and accounted for. There's a small heater in the back of the tank. This tank sits out in the living area of my house on the bar, the breakfast bar between the kitchen, dining area, and living room. So I do keep a heater in this tank. One of the few that I keep a heater in. On top, we've got the other of the LED light strips that came with the 55 gallon starter kit. And for plants, we've got Pogostemon stellatus octopus. We've got some Java fern, Anubias nana petite, Bucephalandra, Ludwigia, a couple of other types of Anubias that I cannot remember the names of, and some Vallisneria. These guys are always ready to eat as well. So this is just a mix for their food. I've got some nano bug bites, some of that. I can't remember if it's the extreme peewee or extreme nano that's I've got in here, but it's the smallest of the foods. And then every now and again they'll get some krill flakes. They also get bloodworms, cyclops, and brine shrimp on occasion. Well, I feed frozen food twice a week to all my aquariums. And then I've also got some freeze-dried bloodworms that is just kind of a treat once a week or so. I originally bought this tank and set it up to be a shrimp tank. And if I could give anybody a tip for starting a shrimp tank, don't add shrimp for the first couple of months after setting the tank up. You can do it, obviously, but if you just get the tank and throw shrimp in it, there's not a lot of biofilm for them to feed on. The tank just really needs to be seasoned well. And when I set this tank up for shrimp, I didn't know that. It was the first shrimp tank I'd ever set up, and all of my shrimp died. And every time I added shrimp, they died. As you saw in the guppy and shrimp tank, I eventually figured out the secret, but if I could give anybody one tip for less heartache starting out a shrimp tank, that would be it. So this tank just turned into a betta tank after I gave up on the shrimp. And I love him. He is a, let's see if I can get this right. I think he's a half moon rosetail or double rosetail. I'm not sure. He's got a name about a mile long. He's got the blue eyes, which I believe makes him leucistic. But just a really cool fish. Gotta love Bruce Lee and the Little Dragons. So I think that's going to do it for us this week. Just a quick fish room tour. I'm not going to go outside and take a look at the ponds, although it is definitely time to start thinking about your outdoor tubs and ponds. It's been really bad weather around here, and my backyard is like a swamp right now. Anybody living down in central South Florida will understand what that means. So I'm not going to go out and film them right now, so stay tuned and we'll do a special video about the ponds coming up real soon. I'd like to thank everybody for sticking with me and checking out the tanks. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please hit me up in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear from you. But for now, everyone take care out there, and I'll catch you in the next one.